Welcome to the Yolanda Neely Show podcast. Your girl Yolanda Neely. And I'm excited. I got a special guest in the studio with me, Cosby Johnson, running for mayor here in Brunswick, Georgia. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you for everything you're doing in the community, especially getting the word out around this important election.
Absolutely. This is very much an important election. Brunswick is getting ready to grow. I mean, it's been growing. It has had its issues, of course. We'll talk a little bit later about Ahmaud Arbery's case, but the fact that we have so many wonderful folks running for mayor, that's how important this race is.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about Cosby Johnson. Where are you from? And tell us a little bit. Give us a history.
Born and raised in Brunswick, Georgia.
Okay.
My father was born in a house off of Arco.
Wow.
We weren't even going to the hospitals back then. He was born in a house. So that gives you some idea how important this community is to me and what it means to me. My mother, Dr. Regina Johnson, is a teacher in this community, has been a teacher in this community for over 30 years.
Yep.
My father, before he passed away, was a deacon at First African Baptist Church, where I was reared and brought up, and graduated from Brunswick High, and able to learn from a myriad of legends and elders who came through that school. Not only been able to be coached for a couple years by people like Coach Willis, but also learning from the greats that came before, like a Rashad Lee, like Keon Perry, like Joel Myers. So those are the guys who really poured into me coming up through high school, and then was able to go to Valdosta State, study political science, and really work in the government and political space for the past 15 years. And this race, as you said, Yolanda, is so important because this city is at a perfect time of growth.
Yes.
And it's important in how we deal with that growth. A lot of people will kind of talk about that it is their time, and you may not want a politician, or you may not want this type of person, but I think above all else you would want someone who's prepared for this moment, and that's everything that I've been getting ready for.
So when you say prepare for this moment, you said a political science major, Valdosta State. So yes, you've been grooming for this moment, grooming for this. So when you, I guess I should say, when growing up, did you know this is what you wanted to do?
Oh man,
politics.
I gotta. So I take it all the way back to '92, right?
Okay.
1992. Lil Cosby, don't know nothing about politics really. My mother and my father take me to the inauguration of Bill Clinton.
Wow.
And they take our entire family. My mother's from D.C., so it was like going home, kicking it in Chocolate City. But at the same time, that was the first inauguration that I had attended. And what I really realized in that space was the power that politics had to bring people together. When you talk about Bill Clinton, one of his main things that he talks about is that it takes a village. And it takes a village to not only raise a child, but I think it takes a village to build a community. And from that moment forward, I knew that that's where I wanted to pour my life's work, and that's what I wanted to be a part of. I was blessed enough that my father was already involved civically.
Okay.
My mother was already involved civically. She had started a summer enrichment program when children didn't have a summer program here in the city. My father marched day in and day out to ensure that we removed the Confederate flag from our state flag.
Wow.
So being involved in those types of things and those types of endeavors really showed me the power that when you are prepared, when you do the work, when you have a plan, the real results that can come out of that. I got a funny story because for those of us who've been in Brunswick a while, you probably remember Brad Brown. He was a mayor of ours. In 5th grade, you get a chance at the end of 5th grade to shadow somebody.
Okay.
I chose to shadow Brad Brown.
Wow.
Because I knew at that young of an age, that's where I wanted my life's trajectory to move, and I wanted to sit with someone, even for a day, to learn what the office looks like, what it looks like to be the mayor, what it looks like to step into that. So I've been working and grinding ever since to make sure I can step into this moment.
Wow. I mean, you just knew.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, that's amazing, because people always say to me, did you always know you were going to be a DJ on the radio? I did. That's it. When you just know that you know that you know, that's what you go after. And that is awesome. So tell me, what kind of changes would you like to see happen here in Brunswick, Georgia? Because again, we're just growing. You know, we're right on that cusp where people are knowing, okay, there's this beautiful little community in southeast Georgia. I mean, they're surrounded with islands and money over here. and a whole lot of poverty. And just so happens the community that needs the mayor, you're going to be over that community that is mostly the poverty. What kind of changes do you see yourself making here?
You know, it's one of those times when I get that question, I always try and say, you know, it's important that we walk and chew gum at the same time, right? That we know exactly what we're doing when we step into this office. And for us, I think one of the biggest things that we're going to think about is the absolute waste that we've seen over the past couple years. When you talk about the things that are important to our city, let's say the Roosevelt Harris Senior Center needs to be redone, needs some investment. We need to make sure that we at least have senior citizen transport so they can not only get back and forth to the centers, but get to a grocery store and a doctor's visit, right? You talk about getting deeply into infrastructure and finding out how to fix those things. Well, the first question has to be, how do we handle the money that we have? How do we handle the money that's in the coffers right now? And over the past 2 years, we've seen over $500,000 be wasted on plans that are now not feasible.
Wow.
And these are plans that, for the most part, many in our community did not ask for. When we talk about wasting that kind of money, we first have to take a look at the budget, really streamline it, and see where we can reappropriate those dollars. How can we better use those wasted funds to pour into our community and give to our community? The next thing that we're going to focus on is really how do we communally redevelop downtown? What I try and say is by the water, that's happening, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of developers doing there. You got restaurants popping up. You finally got a place that you can go grab dinner probably after 9 o'clock at,
exactly.
Downtown. And that's growing, and we are thankful for that investment from those developers. But at the same time, how do we, in a smart way, in a conscious way, develop Albany Street, develop the Norwich Corridor, develop L Street, develop McIntyre Court, make sure that we're developing Magnolia Park and College Park? How do we do that? Well, the difference between every other campaign and ours is we're going to tell you exactly how we plan to do it. And that's really making sure we get the negotiations right with the county, that the SPLOST dollars and the lost dollars have a more equitable split with the city. Right now, those dollars are split 80-20, and that's just not fair.
No.
That simply will not do for a city that is growing, and even more so for my city residents out there. You are being taxed twice already. You're being taxed for the city, and you're being taxed for the county. We're going to make sure that we get those dollars back home, and we really rebuild your infrastructure, and we really take a large look and a real look at blight and making sure slumlords move out of our community, but that we're helping save the homes of grandma and granddaddy who just don't have the means, and that a mayor should step in and really find a way to fund that program.
Some folks here in the community want us to consolidate the county and the city. I live in a county. I like the fact that the city is a city. That's me. Yeah. But again, I'm in the county. How do you feel about consolidation? Yeah,
so I will tell you, I've seen communities do consolidation, and they put it up for a vote, and you know, it is important to have community backing when those communities do that. However, for me, I think we're in a real place where we have to start thinking about how do we strengthen Brunswick. And while some people may say, it'll be great if we could connect with the county, it could be great if we could all be under one umbrella. For me, the problems that exist in the city are very individual to the city. When we see Parks and Rec go to the county and be all the way in North Glen, and have our kids here in the city not have a real Parks and Recreation department, it kind of shows you what consolidation may look like. And I am not going to have, as the mayor, I'm not going to step into something that is a bad deal for the children and the families and the citizens of Brunswick.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back. We got Cosby Johnson, mayoral candidate, Brunswick, Georgia, on the Yolanda Neely Show.
Hello, and welcome to Kim Mays State Farm Agency. I'm Kim Mays, the owner of Kim Mays State Farm Agency, located here in Stockbridge, Georgia. We're a local insurance agent providing auto, homeowners, life, and health insurance. Our value is that we provide personal customer service to our customers, taking the time to get to know them and making sure that we're providing the coverage that will best protect their family and their needs. If you would like to have a policy review or an appointment today, please give us a call at 770-282-6622, or you can find us online at www.coveredbykim.com. Thanks, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Once again, welcome back to the Yolanda Neely Show. With me, I have Cosby Johnson, one of the mayoral candidates that is running for mayor here in Brunswick, Georgia. Now, we've been getting a lot of shine in this community, and some of it is good, and some of it is not so good. The part that's good, I think we were voted the best little small city, or one of the top 10 small cities in the country, because it has that nice southern feel. It's a community. It's a nice community. But also, on the other hand, there's Ahmaud Arbery, that was gunned down in the streets. They're picking the trial is going on now. They're picking out jurors. As a young African American man, and I have to use the youth because you are a young man, how are you feeling about this, and how can you speak to the young men in our community to say, hey, I'm going to follow you, I believe in you, I know that we can make some changes here? Because right now a lot of them are very negative because what has happened. So how can you kind of bring some cohesiveness?
Yeah, we have done everything possible during the campaign to not speak directly on the tragic murder of Ahmaud Arbery, and that's just simply because we cannot imagine the pain that Miss Wanda Cooper has gone through.
Absolutely.
The absolute devastating pain that Mr. Marcus Arbery has gone through, that his aunties and others have really felt. And so we always want their feelings to be encapsulated by them. And so what we will say is that we are absolutely praying for justice and absolutely in support of Mr. Arbery, Miss Cooper, and the entire family as they seek that justice. And we've been behind them from the beginning, and we'll continue to be behind them and stand with them. The one thing that I will say about the community is that after the heinous murder, after we've seen the heinous video, you've seen such amazing leaders step up. You've seen people like the Wanza Brooks really step up. You've seen people like Demetrius Frazier. You've seen people like Coach Vaughn, and all of them really moving behind the tip of the spear that was Miss Wanda Cooper and Mr. Marcus Arbery. And through that kind of power, through that kind of connection with those kinds of leaders and our community really following behind them, we've seen us not just reach for justice of having this case, right, and us moving forward to seek that justice. We've seen us really affect the entire state to ensure that this kind of murder doesn't happen again and doesn't go unanswered. And you see that with the passage of the hate crimes bill.
Right.
We were one of 3 states in the entire nation that didn't have it. And it's sad that it took us losing a son of this city for Atlanta to wake up and say it's time for us to have a hate crimes bill. But that happened because this family and leaders in this community stood up. You've seen them overturn a sickening law that was from slave catching days, where you had citizens arrest repealed. And that citizens arrest repeal happened because this community, hand in hand with those leaders, chose to not just fight for justice in this instance as we continue to fight for that justice, but to also make sure no other community would be affected or used in the same way. So I say, in the immense sadness that it is, what beauty and what strength we have seen from that family and the leaders of this community to keep that fight moving.
That's very well said, Cosby. Very well said. And my sentiments exactly, because it was very devastating. And I don't want the community to be known like that because there's so much goodness here. And again, kudos to all the leaders stepping up and all the spiritual leaders and of different faiths and different genres and, just a community coming together. And that's what I really like. I'm not used to a small town. Grew up in New York City, but, something just captured me here. And I'm loving it.
That's it.
And I'm loving the attitude. So what's your mark that you want? Because all right, a few days away, people aren't going to go out. We have a problem. A lot of us don't come out and vote,
Right.
especially for the smaller races, mayor races, commissioners. What can you say to the people of Brunswick, Georgia, to say, hey, this is important. We have to get out here and vote?
I would say we have some real issues in front of us.
Yes.
Not only how we deal with infrastructure and rebuild our streets, right? Not only how we ensure that every child, and we're the only campaign really talking about a real education platform, but how do we ensure every single child has a tablet, every single child has access to the internet, not just because of a pandemic, but because learning that way is the way of the future. And it is incumbent upon a leader to prepare their children and their students for the jobs of tomorrow. How do we ensure that we rebuild a recreation department that not only has sports but has arts, has a place that you can come teach young women and men how to get into the radio industry, how to think about podcasts, how to think about having their voice be heard in a greater way. Well, we're going to do that because we have already done it.
Wow.
We have been prepared for this moment, and I'll take you through a couple things that we've done. With the technical schools, I partner with the technical schools and the business community to really bring a multi-million-dollar investment from the state to pour into our technical schools to get them ready for jobs over at Gulfstream, $30 an hour jobs. We got to be ready to pour our kids into that. Well, that's going to come to our technical schools because of the work we did. We have fought to make sure every student has a free SAT in school, and that's something that we're fighting for to this day at the state capitol. We have worked with state leaders across the states to answer not only the questions of hate crimes, where we work with the speaker and lieutenant governor, but also in that repeal of citizens arrest, we work directly with the author to make sure that we got that bill right to answer these things in our community. So what we say oftentimes is, unfortunately these things end up being a popularity contest, but we want you to do the homework to really find out what someone has done. Not when they say they serve you, if they just show up when you want them to speak, if they just show up when you want them to do something, but what have they continued to work on to bring home results for you? Because the problems that this city has and where this city is going and the potential that this city has really is going to have to be tapped in by a leader and by a people that are ready to go to work. And that's what we are for you.
So you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Every day.
I'm ready to see it. We want everybody to come on out and vote, though.
Amen.
We want everybody to come out and vote. This is important. So we're going to wrap up. We're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to wrap up in a few minutes. But I'm loving what you're saying, Cosby. I love it. The Yolanda Neely Show podcast.
Big Chick of McDonough is a family-owned business that has been serving the McDonough community for over 50 years plus. We believe in good food, good customer service, and good governance. Sandra Vincent, who is running for mayor of the city of McDonough on November 2nd, also believes in those principles. She believes in fairness, equity, inclusion, and representation for all of McDonough. McDonough needs a mayor that will support citizens, advocate for the needs of McDonough, and work to earn the respect of residents and small business owners of our city. Sandra Vincent has earned the respect and support of Big Chick of McDonough. We deserve a mayor who will fight for quality of life, fight for employee development, and fight for economic, entrepreneurial, and small business enhancement. If you would like to help us in our fight for change, Big Chick of McDonough will help you in your support efforts. Any meal that is purchased at our McDonough location will donate 10% of the proceeds for that week to the Sandra Vincent campaign effort. Visit BigChickMcDonough.com.
Welcome back to the Yolanda Neely Show. Again, my guest, Cosby Johnson, running for mayor of Brunswick, Georgia. So, okay, let's say it doesn't happen. Let's just say, I'm not going to say it, I'm praying. Will you still be committed to the community? Because you started a movement here. And I love the movement that you started, the caring, touching everybody in the community, going out. You're not waiting. If the rainstorm, you're slushing through the floods of the city. In the event it doesn't happen, what's your next move?
I was talking to a constituent today, and it was a constituent who lived through a pretty horrific accident. And when we were having conversations about services in Brunswick, she said, some days are hard. And I asked her, I said, what is the hardest part? And she said, the hardest part is acceptance. And the reason that touched me was because I was expecting her to talk about some physical ailment. I was expecting her to talk about something she lost, but it was about accepting what had happened to her and where she was. Now, the most important thing about that wasn't that she was struggling with accepting, but the fact that she was struggling with accepting and still coming to volunteer with the campaign.
Wow.
She was struggling with accepting and still finding a way to give back. She was struggling with accepting, but still finding a way to go to work for the community. I pray that we step into office November 2nd. But if not, while it may be hard to accept, what she showed me is that the work doesn't stop. And it hasn't stopped since I went to that inauguration. It hasn't stopped since I marched the streets with my father. It hasn't stopped since I helped my mother get ready for her summer enrichment program. If there's one thing that I know, is that through the pieces of legislation that I've worked on, through the results that we have gotten for our city, that the work doesn't stop because the need of our people doesn't stop. So we're going to wake up every day committed to the same calling that we were committed to so long ago, and that's to make government work for the people. And so I can promise you, however this election turns out, Brunswick will continue to have a son of its city that fights for it every day.
Wow. I so appreciate you saying that, because you have made a difference. You have made a difference in this short time that I have seen you. I mean, because even when I was talking to other candidates, they were like, yo, you need to talk to Cosby. I didn't even know who Cosby was, but they told me I needed to speak to you. And I'm honored that I had the opportunity to sit here and speak with you today. I don't look at you as young, I look at you as gifted. And I feel that you can bring us. I feel that you have great ideas. And I feel that you're going to work hard for this community, because you've already showed what you can do. So I'm wishing you the best. You know, I wish I could vote, but again, I'm in the county.
That's okay.
So, but you know, I'm praying for you.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad that you are a part of this community, and it makes me love this community even more. So keep doing your thing. We're going to connect together.
Yes,
we're going to work together, whether you may or not. We're going to be here, because I'm here, you here.
That's it.
And you can call me any day, and wherever you need me, I'm going to be.
Well, I'm looking forward to building and continuing this amazing relationship. Thank you again for the beacon that you are. I know it's hard to feel it on radio, but there's a lot of little girls and little boys and young men and young women listening to your voice come through, and you continue to touch them in a way of showing them that is something to keep fighting for your dream through it all. So just know, in your mayor's office, with me in your mayor's office,
yes,
you'll have someone who's supporting that dream, but also wants to show it off to the world. So thank you.
Thank you. Cosby Johnson, mayoral candidate. Please, folks, get out and vote. Please don't sit at home. You got to get out and vote. It's important. It's our future. And more than that, it's our kids' future. It's the Yolanda Neely Show podcast, and entertainment.
1010 Computers is your one-stop resolution for all your computer repair and IT needs. We offer an array of services in our local repair center, as well as on-site support at your home or small business. We also carry new and certified refurbished Apple and PC, desktop, and laptop computers. At 1010 Computers, your customer experience is our primary focus.
All my issues have been resolved quickly and thoroughly.
Call us today at 404-585-6253.
Fast and affordable repairs for all.
5 reasons why cleaners love working with their cleaning referral agency. Number 1, freedom from unnecessary work. When you're starting a cleaning company, or any company for that matter, you are so concerned about business cards, website presence, social media presence, invoicing, in-home estimates, all of these things that you need to do that you actually don't get paid for until you actually get the client to show up to do the cleaning. When you're working with a referral agency, these things are completely unnecessary. These are what the agency takes care of for you, saving you time, energy, and money. Number 2, reasons why cleaners love working with a cleaning referral agency. Free services. So in addition to covering that unnecessary work that you don't have to do, we also handle the fees of the customer service. We handle the fees of website hosting and management. We cover the fees of graphic design and management. We cover the fees of credit card processing and etc. We take care of all of the hands-on parts of the business so that all you need to do is focus on the cleaning. Number 3, reasons why cleaners love working with a referral agency. Flexibility. When I first started doing this work, I wanted to have the freedom to work where my son was in school, but I also wanted to attend class parties and field trips. And if he was sick, I didn't want to risk losing my job because I needed to stay home with my son. That's the beautiful part about this agency, is that it gives the same opportunities that I had when I first started to cleaners that may come on and do the cleaning as well. So with the flexibility, as I said, you get to choose your job. You can accept or decline jobs that are given to you within your availability. So if you need to take off for your child being sick or for a vacation or a doctor's appointment, you are not at risk of getting fired. You have the opportunity for the agency to send a substitute cleaner on your behalf. So therefore your clients are always taken care of and you get to handle your business. Number 4 reason why cleaners love working with a referral agency: the pay. When working with a referral agency, you have an incredible opportunity to make far more than minimum wage. The living wage is incredible. The way that the clients clean, we offer a majority percentage to our cleaners. They're the ones actually in the field doing the actual work, and we're handling all of the administrative things. So it's very important that we compensate the cleaners with a competitive pay, giving them that freedom that they need to be able to be where they need to be, but also giving them the freedom to be able to pay their bills and have a living wage and not have to work 1, 2, 3 piece of jobs to try to put together a family income. So excited about that opportunity. Number 5, reasons why cleaners love working the referral agency. It's free to register. You've got nothing to lose. All you need to do is go to refermeocd.com, fill out the form there, have 2 years of professional experience, have 3 professional references, 3 personal references, submit to a background screening, and in our county, you're responsible to have a business license, but we'll tell you more about that later. We are so excited to work with cleaners in our area to provide excellent service to our clients and be able to provide an excellent service to our cleaners. This is a win-win-win situation. And at Slightly OCD Cleaning Referral Agency, taking care of you is our goal. We love you so much. Thanks so much for watching.